Welcome back. So I finally got in the cushion, kayak cushion. Came with this little thing and a few stickers supporting breast cancer. But scented, it's like a sponge. I guess you could use it to rub down your kayak or whatever. But anyways, I just want to show you, this is how big this one is. This is the oval shaped one. I figured it was about the same size as the original. Now the original seat in this was not uncomfortable for me. And that can change from person to person as far as comfort goes. But I went and got this one. I think for just this one cushion, it was about $70 some, shipping and all. But it took a long time to get here. I don't know why, but it did. So just be aware that if you get it, or get one of these, it may take a while. Now there may be cheaper options out there, but this feels like it'd be comfortable. This is the firm. They have a firm and a soft, but this one's the firm one, and it feels pretty good. I mean, I don't know, because I haven't really put it to the test. I'll have to kind of fool with it a little bit. Yeah, it feels pretty good. But it does kind of put me up a little higher. Let me zoom out a little bit. But it's pretty good size shape. But I'm sure if you fasten it down, it'll help. But I didn't have no issues with the stock seat being comfortable. Maybe over time it might get mashed down, but it'd be nice to have something like this maybe for the back too. But like I said, I didn't get uncomfortable, and I rode for kayak for about 4 or 5 hours. What's this say, 4 hours? But either time I never got uncomfortable. But that looks like it's about, I don't know, pretty good size thickness. I don't know. But I got one this collar. You can pick from a variety of collars. And even, I think they even have some patterns. But yeah, that definitely is comfortable. And that's the firm one. So there's a soft one. So, but I don't know how to tell you which one to pick if you're interested in one. But yeah, Yak Attack makes one, but I think it only comes in square. People complain it was just really big. Probably gives you the dimensions of it. But yeah, so that finally come in. I went inside of my Boeing yesterday. Didn't paper tune it yet. I got set up a little rig to test it for paper tuning. But it's doing all right. No issues with that. Let's see, what else is there? Oh yeah, I did find a different route to where I want to go. Well, that slough I was on that I said was Buffalo Slough, that actually is dark slough. But dark slough breaks apart into several different sloughs, but it's still dark slough. Now, when I was kayaking on that other landing, the first video I made, as I'm kayaking out there, there's a left-hand slough, and there's one that kind of keeps going straight. The one that keeps going straight, now that will be Buffalo Slough, but the left-hand slough I went up, that's dark slough. And I can go all the way up through there a little ways, and then I run into that dark slough I was talking about that I went to that was kind of all dried up. It's not all dried up, but it's the entrance of it, you can't get in through there. There's down trees, and it's too mucky. You'd have to try to, it's kind of hard to get around it because the bank's just kind of steep and it's mucky. I had to kind of go around and come in from the other side and kind of shoot across to where I shot that video. And I was telling you, I don't think that I'm going to be able to get through here, that video. And I told you that it ran out and it went into Buffalo Slough. Well, that's actually dark slough. But I was under the impression it was Buffalo Slough based on Onyx. But anyway, I can go up there and try to come back that way. If I don't want to come that way, I can continue on up there And then there's another place, which I can't tell based on what it looks like right now, but based on satellite imagery of Onyx, it's really murky, but I think I can make it up through there. Maybe. If not, I can trek that way and I can get to about where I want to get on the other side of that field. Also, where I see those 4 bucks, I usually always see deer in there, in that area, near the road. So, I haven't seen no big bucks or nothing, but there's deer in there. And I believe those bucks, I looked at my location and I looked about where the bedding areas are, and I think they were going towards the bedding areas in them fields, because they bed in them fields. Grass is, it may be 8 feet high. I think that's where they're going. They look like they were going in that direction. It wouldn't surprise me. Or they were just coming from wherever their food source is, which the deer in that specific area, I don't know where their food source is, but that's probably where they were coming from. Still trying to wake up. I tested out my bike. I finally got some air in the tires. So it worked for me, for my purposes. It's got quick release wheels on it, so I can take them off and put it in the car and take it with me if I want to kind of float down Tiffany bottoms, put my bike at the bottom and pedal back up to get the car if I go that route. Bow season here in Wisconsin, it starts the 13th, this coming Saturday. So I want to go back out there and do some more scouting and exploring. Still early season. I will probably be taking my bow with me and my portable raft and field dressing and stuff. That way, if for some reason I do see a good buck or something, which I don't plan on it, but you never know. Probably be warm, which it don't really matter. It was warm the other day, and look, 4 bucks right there. I wasn't even deep inside. They weren't real big bucks. There's big bucks in there. But, yeah, so that's the kayak cushion. I showed you the skirt. I got those. And I kind of got me a paddle, carbon shaft paddle picked out. They'll go from 235 centimeters to 245 centimeters in adjustment. So that should work for me. It's like a $250 paddle, but that's why I bought them cheaper ones, was to make an assessment of what size I needed before I invest in a more expensive paddle. There's nothing really wrong with those, and this is kind of experimental. And I'll do the testing for you to tell you whether spending that kind of money is really worth it. Experienced kayakers say, yeah, it's worth it, but I'll let you know. Now, this ain't the easiest paddle in kayak, I don't think, but that can vary from person to person. And, it may paddle easy enough for some people. I think it's fine enough for me. The second time I went out, it seemed easier to paddle. But when you're in them sloughs, there's a slow current. So you can feel a difference in paddling south versus north. Versus north, it's more of a workout, but coming back, it's pretty easy. It's not a real fast kayak or easy kayak to paddle, but again, that depends on the person. If you don't have any experience paddling any other kayak, when you first get in this, you might think, man, paddling's rough, depending on where you're at. But if you're floating down a river, you'll never probably have no issues. And if you got the 9.5 version, it's going to be very maneuverable. It's pretty stable, so if it's class 1 whitewater, you shouldn't have to. That's whitewater, comparable to some places on the Greenbrier or New River, except for maybe Bacon Falls, I think is the name of it. That might be a little rougher, but definitely ain't the Gauley River. But yeah, I think it'd be stable enough for that, especially if you have the spray skirt on like I got. Water's not going to get in. It's pretty stable. But on whitewater kayaks, the bow is a little different. If you look at like Dagger, they make a lot of whitewater kayaks, and there's another brand, I don't know. the bow of it comes up more, and it kind of is hoved up more to keep when you're hitting them waves, like, it keeps it from going in. This one's not really designed that way, but it'd probably be all right if you put the spray skirt on it that comes up around you to like right here. So there's that. Let's see here. I did buy a cheap paddle holder from Ozark Trail, the one at Walmart. I did see where some people from the ones on Amazon, they bought them. They look good, but they broke. I guess the plastic was too hard, or when they put their paddle in it, they break. So I don't really want to do drilling. Like I said in another video, I did entertain or consider putting a motorized motor on this for going up the Chippewa. But I mean, I do have a pretty good idea how I can actually mount a trolling motor to this and set that up without having to drill and create a mount. I can do it without having to actually do any drilling or anything like that. But that rod holt mounter, I would, if I put it along here. I could either put like the rod holder here or more up here. I seen somebody do it up here on a 10.5. It kind of seemed like it kept it out of their way for fishing. That might work for me. I just need to be able to place it somewhere when I'm getting onto the bank, instead of trying to put it up here. I need somewhere I can actually clip it or put it to the side so it's out of my way, so I can focus on getting in and out of that kayak. Because I'm trying to avoid getting all that mud and sand and stuff in the kayak when I'm doing that. You know, it's just better to get it out of your way. But I need to address that yet. But I would probably have to screw those in, mount them in. Also, the Kayaks that I got, I was playing. These little bugs are all over the place. They don't hurt nothing, but they're just a nuisance. Let me flip this over for just a moment. But anyway, that Kayaks, you see it's already getting scratched up a little bit. It's nothing major, but I put that Kayaks here. You heat up with a heat gun, put marine grade goop on here, should work. Put it here and here, here and here, and here and here, and here as well. So let's see, it is getting scratched up here a little bit, but just to put it here, I did see where people put like JB Weld, and you might be able to use Kayaks, put it like in areas right here, down the middle, and around the edge here. Any place that's more of like a contact point, like right here, you see. It's just scratches, but you can do that. But if you do get a puncture and it's rotor molded, there's a way to properly fix that. You can get the same material, plastic, that this is actually made out of, and you get you a Dremel, and if you got a crack, or a crack that's starting, this ain't really a crack, I think that's more of just a sharp scratch like this. But if you're starting to get a crack or something, you take a little Dremel, and drill here, say, and you take it and you rotor it out a little bit, just a little bit. There's a video, the bearded paddler, he got a lot of experience with kayaks, and he's a dealer, and they do free repairs. If you buy from them, they repair this stuff, and they have a lot of experience. And he says that you need to buy the same, you can get it from a dealer, and get online the same polyethylene, I guess that's how you pronounce it. It's the same stuff this is made out of, and you can get it like a little stick, and you heat it up, and you twist it in there, and you fill it in, you know, and you can make it to where you can't even really tell it. I think you can lightly sand it after the fact, but you can twist it in there and heat it up and smooth it out, and fill it in, and it'll be just the same as it was, be just as strong, because it'll mix and bond with the existing plastic, and and it'll do the same process. He was talking about how other people would take like plastic buckets and other types of plastics. He said that's not the best way to do it because they don't melt at the same temperatures. A lot of those other plastics, like the plastic buckets, they'll melt. When you heat them up, they'll melt before this type of plastic, and they'll become a little liquidy. He says you don't want to do that because it doesn't bond well with that type of plastic. But you can get some kayaks, I seen, they actually come with pieces of this with them when you buy them for making repairs. It's just like a raw piece of this polyethylene, and you can use it, and you cut what you need off, and you melt it, and you heat it, and you can properly repair it, and it'll just be just as strong and as it was when you first bought it. I don't have no issues with that. I've only took it out a couple times. It's scratched up, but that's to be expected. But I may very well when I get a chance. I still need the marine goop. I need to order that actually today, so it'll be here. And heat it up, mold it, cut it, put it here, and at least up here. And I may look about putting it along this part here, since that looks like it's taking a little abuse. Here seems fine, but I haven't had it out a lot. So that's just preventive measures. Places that when you're dragging stuff, might try to avoid dragging it. But again, you can see how with this sound, how the hole is designed. Let's go from the front. So you can see how it is. It's not very V-shaped, but it is stable, and it has good secondary stability. Right here and here. So they're not easy to tip over. Now, if you want something that's going to cut, and you see how it kind of widens up, kayaks that are faster are usually longer and narrower and have a more V-shaped hull, but they're not as stable. And like I've said before, if you're looking for something that's easier to pad on, it's a little faster, then you're going to need something longer, and it's a little narrower, and it's got a more V-shaped hull. But the longer it gets, the harder it is to turn. So and it's not as stable. So that threshold of rolling over is not as great as this. This one you can lean over pretty good ways before sitting inside it, because your weight's down low, before it'll actually. So even though it feels like this, that's just your primary. But then you can kind of sit it right here, and it's not going to go anywhere. So the more you get in it, the more you become familiar with this specific kayaks. Whereas these big touring kayaks that may be 14 or 17 feet long, they look like they're only about that wide. But so that's one of the reasons why I opted for a shorter one, is for maneuverability. They make a kayak the same length of this Perception. It's 9.5. It's called the Flash. It's a sit inside, but it has more of a V-shaped hull. I think I put that in another video I posted. So it's going to have a little bit more V-shape, and it doesn't have this tri-hull design. It's just one tapered piece, and it's a little narrower, I think. At least has more of a V-shaped hull. I don't know the overall width. So it may cut through the water a little better. But this is a good brand, good durable brand. They make pretty quality stuff for the price. Can't hardly beat them. I've looked. So yeah, that's the kayak cushion I got. I'll probably put it to the test later, but like I said, I never got uncomfortable. Different people may feel differently, but to each their own on that one. But yeah, so that's the kayak cushion. Like I said, it's about $70. You may be able to find cheaper options, but that's what I got. I don't know if it's made in USA, but I don't know. I don't know. Let's see what's in here. That's the type of material, so that looks like it's proper material for kayaking. So this might be a good option for anybody that's looking for a kayak cushion. It does raise you up a little bit, but like I said, there's secondary stability. You see that flat spot there, you know, so pretty stable kayak. But yeah, there's a guy that has a 10.5 of this. He's put over 500 miles on his kayak. It's banged up, scratched all to pieces, and he never put a hole in the hull. So, and he drug it over logs and all kinds of stuff. I forgot what the name of his channel is, but so these are pretty durable little kayaks. Maybe not the fastest, maybe not the most comfortable, no, maybe not the most rich features or whatever, but I mean, it's one-handed. I mean, it's 39 pounds, you know. You can't hardly beat that for something versatile. It's easy to put up on the car. So, no issues with this. Don't have a lot to compare it to, and I'm sure there's other, I would think, oh yeah, this is way easier to paddle. But at the same time, I'm aware that you're taking something from something else that this offers. Easeability, portability, maneuverability, stability, price. I mean, it's easy to fool with. It's not a big hassle, and it gets the job done. But like I said before, not to keep this video going on, maybe if you're looking at a kayak for comparable reasons, I mean, you can fish out of this, you can customize it, you can do mods to it to make it more suitable for your needs. It's a pretty good brand for the price and the quality. And like I said, there's ways to actually properly fix it if you do damage the hull. But if you're bigger, the 10.5, say you're over 6 foot or something, or just a bigger guy, maybe a 10.5 would suit you better. But you just have to go into a shop somewhere where they got them, sit in them, you can adjust them. I don't know, let's see, because your knees will probably come up if you've got longer legs and stuff. So, but let me see here. If you can see, again, you can see my other videos. That's where I have mine adjusted to. So you got a little bit more adjustment down through there. That's a 9.5. Yeah, I like this little kayak. I mean, you know, it's been around for a while. It's kind of a proven design. Haven't had no issues. This comes in 3 colors. I mean, unless you find a used one in a different color. They used to have a red one, a red and black one. Black, or it's black and it says red, a dark red. They got one that's like a green one, and a tan one, just a plain old tan. So I'll see you again here next time on the ground, and we'll see what happens this bow season. I'll see you again here next time on the ground.